Harlek, just give me a brief introduction to who you are.
I'm RALEK GRACIE, the CEO of Metamoris, original co-founder, and all-around warrior in life.
Something that I really wanted to bring up was the recent, and I think the jiu-jitsu world should kind of hear.
Don't bring it up. Just move on to the next.
What am I saying?
AJ.
AJ? What about AJ?
Oh my God. Just go to the next thing. Let's go.
Why don't you want to speak about AJ? I think it's important, bro, that, you know.
Okay, so AJ Agazarm, I had text message with him where I told him, hey man, it's okay, we'll take care of you. He knew, he said, okay, cool, Harlek, no worries. Can you get me in the next event? I said, I'm not sure yet. I didn't really want to get him in the next event because I'm not that impressed with him as a grappler. I'm really not. We got him in our underground show, which is cool, but that's not like a pro event. And great, you know, he had a good match and drew with Carl Parisian, which is great, but also again, it's just kind of proving my point. And, you know, he knew that, and he knew, and we had full communication. And when he had the opportunity, he took advantage of our Instagram, and he made it a thing about me disrespecting all the athletes and saying that I'm taking advantage of athletes and I'm using their image in a way to make money and I'm not doing this or doing it. And it was, and saying, oh, these other organizations, they're doing it. And by the way, I'm competing in this other organization next month. Come check me out. So yeah, he's very predictable, and he wanted to promote himself, and he felt like it was a great opportunity to try to diminish my credibility, and yeah.
So it wasn't over unpaid bills and things like that? It's really to do just more with bookings?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you actually never physically owed him any money then?
No, I did owe him money. Yeah.
But you told him within due process?
Yeah, we're going to take care of it, man. But we're a growing business, and we literally overextended ourselves. We need time. We're going to pay you, but just give us time. And he knew it, and he was cool with it. And he was communicating with me. So it wasn't like a new thing to him. But I think people see also that he was out for himself, and he's trying to build himself. And man, it's funny, like he used an image that I paid somebody to shoot of him, which is probably the best image that anybody has ever shot of him. It's very ironic to me that he's saying that we're not doing enough for the community and I'm taking advantage of people, when I see it as the opposite. And I spoke to a friend, the editor at Fightland, Mike Resco, and I'm like, and he's like, Harlek, you shouldn't tell anybody you're gonna pay them anything because nobody gets paid in this game. Are you crazy? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you put yourself in that position? And you know what I told him? I said, because it has to grow. We have to create that value. We have to create that anticipation of value, that necessity for value. We have to create that anticipation of value, the necessity for value. And we have to create it from the inside out, which is very difficult, which means you're gonna overextend yourself. We have to take risks. You know what I mean? Like, we spent so much money on athletes. We put out so much money, more than Abu Dhabi, for sure. Per match, we have paid out more money than ADCC. Total. And why? You know what I mean? Like, we could have short-handed everybody all along. I could have just said, you know what? No, we'll pay you $200. Come on and do a match. They're making zero at IBJJF before they started doing the pro league, now paying a little bit more because of the trend that we started and that we had to struggle for. So what's wrong with that? And I tell AJ, hey man, it's cool, wait a little while. We're gonna take care of you. And I'm sorry, I would love to just send you a check. I can't. But I'm talking to you, I'm telling you this, and I'm, you know, obviously I respect you as a person and I want you to be okay. And he's not worried about it, and it's a very small amount of money. You know what I mean? Relatively speaking, we're not talking about $100,000, $50,000, you know what I mean? We're talking $2,000, if that. And it's like, okay, go, continue with your life. We'll take care of you, which I still am till this day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna take care of it. So it's not like, And that's why people got into like, oh, well, you're not paying your athletes, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. We paid our athletes too much. I was too generous. I was not enough of a slimy businessman for our industry. And now I'm being crucified for it. I'm sorry. I overextended myself trying to give you more money and keep less for myself. I'm the bad guy.
So you've admitted that you've made some mistakes and you're trying to correct them. So you're the most honest person about that.
Has anybody not made a mistake? Man, that's it, you know? I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm just gonna keep pushing. And my heart is for jiu-jitsu. So my heart is guiding me. My heart is saying, man, Halek, this is right, this is wrong. But sometimes in business and in life, it goes beyond how you feel. It goes beyond your heart. You have to be strategic. You have to know numbers. You have to pay attention. You have to study your own business. You have to do your own homework, especially when you don't have teams of people. And we're a big company. We're a global company. We don't have teams of people. You know what I mean? And I have a family. So I'm all over the place. So yeah, you know, sorry if I, pissed somebody off or I made a mistake or did this or that. But man, we're moving forward. We're growing the industry. And now it's just part of the story. And yeah, we're gonna cover any mistakes. We're looking to say, okay, how do we avoid that? How do we cover with that? How do we make that person understand that it wasn't like that, it was this? And how do we recover that situation? That's a part of the process of building anything. And what we're not gonna do is just look away or pretend, or just like jiu-jitsu, you can't pretend you don't have a problem when everybody's catching you in arm locks. You can't just look away and start focusing on chokes. You have to learn how to defend the arm lock. You have to learn how to prevent the arm lock from happening 3 steps ahead. So you can't avoid the problems. I'm not avoiding the problems. I'm clinching the problems. So that's the way I feel is the honorable way. And, it's for anybody to judge, but at the end of the day, we're gonna see who makes the biggest difference in this industry and who creates the most value for the athletes and who makes it more of a global experience that people will come to appreciate. It's already been changed. It's already now a whole new sport. Now we're talking about a whole different industry. We're talking about a jiu-jitsu industry where someone like AJ says, well, hold on, these other competitors, they're not doing that. Well, where do these other competitors come from? Who inspired them? Who paved the way for them? But yeah, I shouldn't even be talking about this. Other people should be talking about this for me.
You feel very animated when you talk about AJ. I can tell you're breathing.
Well, yeah, because he purposely did it for his own ego. He didn't actually care. He doesn't actually believe that I'm this slimy person trying to take the whole industry and screw all the athletes. He doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that. So, and I know that, and I knew he was faking it. And I knew he's trying to come up as like this guy who's like trying to save the industry when really he didn't do shit for the industry. He's just trying to ride on what we accomplished for the industry and trying to turn it into his own energy, which is a very sneaky move. And that doesn't deserve any respect. So yeah, I mean, it's worth explaining it on camera, but he doesn't deserve respect. So I don't even want to talk about him. That's why I didn't even want to talk about him. He doesn't even deserve the respect.
Last question to him. You never wanted to fight him? Like on a Meta Morris level?
No, man, no. He's not even that good. Gary choked him with a choke. And Gary doesn't choke anybody. He heel hooks everybody. So he choked him, and why would I fight him? I want to fight Gary. That's a challenge to me. That's more of a challenge to me. So that's what I'm about. I'm about challenges. I'm not about grudges. I'm not sitting here like AJ did this to me and now I'm this. No. He just was lost. He had his own ego vision of what he wanted to do, and it was completely undermining what we had as far as communication. And he's a slimy person, and I don't respect him. So I don't even want to be next to him. I don't even want to really have anything to do with him. That makes no sense. And really, I don't. It's not even worth talking about.
What's the kind of pressure being a Gracie? What does it feel like deep down, emotionally, spiritually? What kind of pressure do you have, Halek, in terms of having that last name? And on top of that being son of Horian, that's got to have a lot of pressure too, the guy that created UFC.
Yeah, pressure makes diamonds. It's a real thing. Diamonds, they come from pressure. And I think there's an honor in being a Gracie, in living your life knowing that people want to, that you have to defend a flag and that people are going to want to fight you and beat you, and for the sake of building themselves and creating a name for themselves, or creating energy around their own establishment, and it's just part of it. And I think, it's just something that becomes normal for you as a Gracie. The pressure just becomes like like a language, that you understand and you speak, and it's part of what you do, and to the point where it just becomes normal. But I think it creates a certain level of, and I think it's for the people who actually engage in it. You can be a Gracie and not feel any pressure to have good jiu-jitsu. You could want to be a salesman and have nothing, and there are people who do nothing to do with jiu-jitsu in the Gracie family. But I'm one of the Gracies who put the pressure on myself to have good jiu-jitsu. And my jiu-jitsu has been improving since day one. And I'm constantly pushing my jiu-jitsu and my understanding of jiu-jitsu. For me, it's a science of combat. And it's a science of understanding yourself in combat. And that's, for me, it's an honor to be a Gracie and to train and have access to really high-level competitors and people who want to train with me, and to feel and to build into, and just the competitive nature growing up with my brothers. And I got choked out for 18 years. You know what I mean? Until I became and then it started to even out between me and my brothers, but they had a 2 and 4 year advantage on me. So that pressure is powerful, if you're stepping into it and you're embracing how much you need to grow, and you're okay with losing deep down. You're okay with learning your weaknesses, and I'm not fighting for points. I've never fought for points. That's the main reason I never even wanted to compete. I always wanted to fight in MMA. So, who knows,
So you are defending the Gracie name?
We're always defending the Gracie name, no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says, no matter who is there. It doesn't matter. It's always representing. It's always stepping up. But I don't live for that. I live for testing myself and putting myself under the fire and seeing what happens and preparing myself for that experience. And I extract my own life lessons from that experience. It's not about just having like a dream of a myth that I'm supporting or I'm breathing life into. That's cool, and that's there anyways. So, but that's not gonna be there for me. You know what I mean? I have to be there, and I have to be sharp.
What's your opinion on your rap career and how people kind of use that to perceive you? Because it's a lot of people use that word a lot when they're describing you. So, if someone doesn't know, what's your opinion of the G and the Key video and the song and your rap career? How would you describe that? How do you explain that?
How would I explain it? As an expression, How many forms of expression should a person be limited to? In our society, people want to put you in a box, It's a very human thing. It's a very, I wouldn't even say it's a human thing. It's a very modern thing to want to put people in a box. Can I put you in a box? Can I say this is who this person is?
Bobby Razak?
Yeah. Can I say that? Can I ever define you based on anything you do? Any one experience? Any one expression of your art? Of your time dedicated to anything? Can I ever judge you for that? Who knows? You know what I mean? There's really no limit to the way that people can express themselves. And that's obviously a very deep philosophical, you can look at it a lot of different ways, but for me, I'm just living my life, I'm just doing what feels right. I'm very inspired to make music. I'm very inspired to express myself in that way. And, I think, it's one of those things where you get into that realm, it becomes a question of somebody's taste. It becomes a question of what people are into, Some people are like, dude, G and a Gi, shit was slept on. You know, like it was one of the most like, so, you know, like I've had people be like, dude, how, like, I had no idea like how good that whole album was, you know? And like a lot of people didn't even hear the album. They just heard one song. So it's like very, you know, it's typical. So it teaches me to get, when I get judged, it teaches me how to look deeper and how to be more open and more dynamic with the way that I appreciate the world and the people in this world, you know? You can't judge, man. You can't judge.
One other question. Could you give us a few bars? Gary's asking me a few bars of, around the world, people like to hear a couple of bars of G and G. Can you give us a few bars?
From that song or from a new one that no one's heard?
Do the new one first. Do the new one, then we'll do. But G and G is too legendary, bro. We need that.
Damn, I should have something just for Gary, just a freestyle.
Freestyle some Gary. Give me a freestyle of Gary. Gary, bitch, Tony, I'm gonna kill you. Fuck you, bitch. Go. Gary, Tony, freestyle.
All right, you see what we do. Still, you don't believe that it's true. Is that about me or is that about you? I don't know. We've got to do what we've got to do.